I think people were meant to be outdoors, to live as much as they can in the wild. I think this is something the modern people have lost, and it's harder and harder to find those places where you can practice activities in the wild. We do this exploring, being in the wild, doing mountain biking or cycling or trail running, just for the feeling of being alive. We're just a bunch of crazy people, and each one of us has a favorite sport. We just love it when we get together and we try to learn the sport that we're not that good at.
I have this weird thing when I like a road a lot and I don't like there to be other people besides the people I like, so I share an experience with close friends, and the road is kind of our secret.
I remember that feeling when we just had to climb through that like really steep forest, and it was too steep to be on the bike. We just had to carry the bikes for almost 1 hour. That's what you do, you know, to get high. And I mean, I remember the feeling when we just started to see the opening, the ridge, and it's just marvelous. It was all worth it. I mean, this is it. This is why we're doing what we're doing. I mean, we just climb to get high. Just go down. I think mountain biking is awesome because you get a mix of two different feelings. Like on one hand, you're in the middle of nature and you're just experiencing the silence and the tranquility of being in the middle of a forest. But on the other hand, you can go really fast downhill and have an adrenaline rush. So for me, like combining these two feelings is what mountain biking is about. I just love seeing the mountain peaks sometimes covered with snow. Really gives me a great feeling, like I'm exploring this vast mountain. But I also like going from this ridge straight into the forest and then descending through different layers of like trees and then going down to the pastures. That's always something I like. There are not many places you can still find your freedom, I think, in the world, and Romania is one of them because it's simply not so well known, luckily. And on the trails, even in high season, you can only be by yourself. Even on Transylvania, which is so popular, if you go on certain times, it's just you and the road. So you imagine Transylvania is this huge playground where you can really practice your passion. If it's mountain biking, road cycling, or trail running, you can do anything you want here.
Whenever I have to take an important decision, I go there and I have the feeling that mountains know what decision I should have. So my question is, let's say in the city, I go out up in the mountain and I find the answer.
It's actually awesome to be on the road. And the first 3 days you're overexcited, and yes, I'm on the road, then you're a little tired, but after you get over the tiredness, it's kind of awesome because you're doing something different and you know you're gonna do something you're going to remember when you're working on your laptop and you're paying the bills and you're sitting in line for 3 hours to pay your taxes. You're just gonna say it was all worth it because I spent those 10 days and they were awesome. We all compete at one point or another, but we compete so we can see how we overcome our limits, because the competition always gives you the extra push. You can't quit because you're in a competition. That's the extra push that a contest gives you. We don't compete for the finish line, we compete for the extra edge, maybe. When we were going up the mountain with the bikes on our backs, we would stop talking when it got really, really hard, and I think that's when we became friends, real friends. Sometimes you actually need to go and live in silence with someone and climb in silence and form that kind of a bond that only on a wild mountain you can have with someone.
It happened to me a lot of times, especially mountain biking or trail running, when you really have to be focused on like the next track, the next bit of, you know, the next log you have to jump or the next turn. Yeah, if my mind starts drifting, you know, to everyday stuff, just I lose my focus, and that's when, you know, I lose the control a bit, and then it's just a reminder that you really have to be present in that moment fully. You cannot, you know, be there and somewhere else. And I think that's something you can also take back home, because if you could be present 100% in everything that you do, probably your life would be a lot better.